What if I told you that almost everything you learned about world geography in school was a lie? Greenland isn't actually bigger than Africa. Russia and Africa aren't even close in size. And Alaska, it's not the giant you think it is. In this video, we're exposing 30 geography myths that have fooled billions of people. Let's dive in. Myth number 1. Greenland is bigger than Africa. Let's start with the biggest lie of them all. On most world maps, Greenland looks massive, almost the size of Africa. But here's the truth. Africa is actually 14 times larger than Greenland. Greenland is 2.1 million square kilometers, while Africa is a staggering 30.3 million. This distortion comes from the Mercator projection, which stretches land masses near the poles. Mind blown. Myth number 2, Alaska is huge compared to the US. Alaska looks enormous on maps, right? But when you move it down to the lower 48 states, reality hits different. Yes, Alaska is big, but it's not as massive as maps make it seem. It's about 1/5 the size of the entire continental United States. The further north you go on a map, the more distorted the size becomes. Myth number 3, Europe is bigger than South America. On a standard world map, Europe and South America look similar in size. Wrong. South America is nearly twice as large as Europe. South America, 17.8 million square kilometers. Europe, only 10.2 million. That's almost double. The Mercator projection strikes again. Myth number 4, Scandinavia is massive. Scandinavia looks like a giant region on world maps. But compare it to India, a country that looks much smaller on maps, and you'll be shocked. India is actually larger than all of Scandinavia combined. Norway, Sweden, and Finland together are about 1.2 million square kilometers. India alone, 3.3 million. Myth number 5, Antarctica is the largest continent. Antarctica looks absolutely enormous on flat maps, stretching across the entire bottom. But it's only the 5th largest continent. Asia is more than 3 times larger. Antarctica, 14 million square kilometers. Asia, 44.6 million. It's not even close. Myth number 6, Russia is bigger than Africa. This one shocks everyone. Russia dominates world maps, looking like an unstoppable giant. But Africa is actually larger. Russia, 17.1 million square kilometers. Africa, 30.3 million. That's nearly double. Russia fits into Africa with room to spare. Myth number 7, China and USA are the same size. People think China and the United States are identical in size. They're close, but not the same. The USA is slightly larger at 9.8 million square kilometers, while China is 9.6 million. The difference? About the size of Montana. Small, but significant. Myth number 8. The Middle East is small. When you hear Middle East, you might think of a small region, but it's massive. The Middle East covers about 7.2 million square kilometers. That's roughly 75% the size of the United States. It stretches from Egypt to Iran, Turkey to Yemen. Way bigger than most people realize. Myth number 9. Japan is tiny. Japan is often depicted as a small island nation. But stretch it out, and Japan would span from Maine to Florida along the US East Coast. It's 377,000 square kilometers, larger than Germany or Italy, not tiny at all. Myth number 10. The Nile is the longest river. For years, we were taught the Nile is the world's longest river. Recent measurements show the Amazon might actually be longer, depending on where you measure from. Amazon approximately 6,800 km, Nile approximately 6,650 km. It's incredibly close, and the debate continues. Myth number 11. Australia is small. Australia looks modest on world maps, but it's the 6th largest country in the world. Australia, 7.7 million square kilometers. That's about the same size as the continental United States. It's basically as wide as the distance from San Francisco to Washington, D.C. Myth number 12. Madagascar is a tiny island. Thanks to the movie, people think Madagascar is a small island. It's actually the 4th largest island in the world at 587,000 square kilometers. That's bigger than Spain or France. It's roughly twice the size of the entire United Kingdom. Myth number 13. The Sahara Desert is the largest desert. The Sahara is the largest hot desert, but not the largest desert overall. Antarctica is technically the world's largest desert at 14 million square kilometers, more than twice the Sahara's size. Deserts are defined by low precipitation, not temperature. Myth number 14. Mount Everest is the tallest mountain. Everest is the highest peak above sea level at 8,849 meters, but measured from base to summit, Mauna Kea in Hawaii is taller at over 10,000 meters. Most of it is underwater. Everest wins altitude. Mauna Kea wins total height. Myth number 15. Africa is one climate. Many people think Africa is all desert or jungle. Africa has every climate zone on Earth: Mediterranean beaches, snow-capped mountains, tropical rainforests, vast deserts, and temperate grasslands. It's the most climatically diverse continent. Myth number 16. The Netherlands will disappear underwater. Everyone thinks the Netherlands is sinking and will be underwater soon. Wrong. The Dutch have been reclaiming land from the sea for centuries. About 17% of the Netherlands' current land was literally created by humans, taken back from the ocean using dikes, dams, and pumping systems. These areas are called polders. Instead of losing land, the Netherlands has actually been expanding. The Dutch don't fear water. They engineer it, control it, and in many places completely reshape it. Myth number 17. Singapore is an island. Singapore is called an island city-state, right? Actually, Singapore consists of 64 islands, not just one. The main island is Singapore Island, but there are 63 smaller islands, including Sentosa, Pulau Ubin, Jurong Island, and many artificial islands created through land reclamation. Most people don't even realize Singapore is an archipelago, not a single island. Myth number 18. Canada has the most lakes. Canada brags about having the most lakes in the world. But here's the twist. Finland has more lakes per square kilometer than Canada. Finland has around 188,000 lakes, earning it the nickname Land of 1,000 Lakes. When measuring pure lake density, Finland is the real champion. Canada just has more total lakes because it's massive, not because it's more lake-filled per area. Myth number 19, the Dead Sea is a sea. It's called the Dead Sea, so it must be a sea, right? Nope. The Dead Sea is actually a lake. A landlocked, hypersalty lake with no outlets to any ocean. It sits about 430 meters below sea level, making it the lowest point on Earth's surface. It behaves like a lake scientifically, not a sea, even though the name says otherwise. Myth number 20. Paris is the capital closest to London. If you ask people which capital city is closest to London, most say Paris. Brussels, Belgium, is actually closer to London than Paris is. London to Paris is about 344 km, while London to Brussels is roughly 320 kilometers. Geography tricks your intuition because Paris feels culturally closer, but distance says otherwise. Myth number 21. New York is on the East Coast. Wait, isn't New York obviously on the East Coast? Yes, but here's the mind bender. Parts of South America are further east than New York City. The entire eastern tip of Brazil sticks so far out into the Atlantic that it's closer to Africa than New York is. Mentally, we picture the Americas straight up and down, but the continents tilt, breaking your internal world map. Myth number 22. Switzerland has no lakes. People think Switzerland is all mountains and no water. Nope, Switzerland has over 1,500 lakes, many formed by melting glaciers. Lake Geneva, Lake Zurich, and Lake Lucerne are just a few. Percentage-wise, Switzerland has more freshwater coverage than many coastal countries. The Alps aren't just mountains, they hide some of the cleanest lakes in Europe. Myth number 23. Egypt is in the Middle East. Egypt is always grouped with Middle Eastern countries. But geographically? Egypt is in Africa. Only the Sinai Peninsula, a tiny portion, extends into Asia. About 95% of Egypt's land and population sits on the African continent. Egypt is African by geography, but culturally and historically it's connected to both Africa and the Middle East, which causes the confusion. Myth number 24. Lake Michigan and Lake Huron are separate. We count 5 Great Lakes, right? Technically it's 4. Lake Michigan and Lake Huron are hydrologically one single lake. They're connected by the Straits of Mackinac, share the same water level, and behave as one giant body of water. Scientists even call it Lake Michigan-Huron because there's no true separation, just a narrow passage in the middle. Myth number 25. South Africa has one capital. Most countries have one capital city. South Africa has 3 official capitals. each serving a different branch of government. Pretoria is the executive capital where the president works. Cape Town is the legislative capital where Parliament sits, and Bloemfontein is the judicial capital for the Supreme Court of Appeal. The government is literally split across 3 cities. Ultimate geography chaos. Myth 26. Mount Kilimanjaro is in Kenya. Everyone associates Kilimanjaro with Kenya because of its proximity and the famous safari imagery showing it behind Kenyan wildlife. But Kilimanjaro is entirely inside Tanzania's borders. Not a single meter of the mountain touches Kenya. You can admire the view from Kenya, but every official climbing route starts in Tanzania, and Tanzania owns the entire mountain. Myth 27. The Amazon River starts in Brazil. The Amazon is Brazil's river, right? Not exactly. The Amazon River actually begins in Peru, high in the Andes Mountains, where tiny streams eventually merge into the mighty river. It then flows through part of Colombia before entering Brazil. Only the final 2/3 of its journey is inside Brazil. The river's true birthplace is thousands of kilometers away from Brazil's borders. Myth 28. Dubai is a country. So many people think Dubai is a country in the Middle East. But Dubai is a city, one of the 7 emirates that make up the United Arab Emirates, or UAE. It's incredibly famous because of its skyscrapers, wealth, and tourism, which is why people confuse it with a country. But the actual capital of the UAE is Abu Dhabi, not Dubai. Dubai just dominates the spotlight. Myth 29. There are 4 oceans. We learned about 4 oceans in school: the Atlantic, Pacific, Indian, and Arctic. But that changed in 2000 when scientists officially recognized the Southern Ocean as the 5th ocean. It surrounds Antarctica and has unique currents and ecosystems that make it distinct. Many textbooks and teachers still haven't updated this, so a lot of people don't even know a 5th ocean exists. Myth 30. North Korea and South Korea only border each other. The 2 Koreas obviously share a border with each other. But North Korea also borders China and Russia. Most people know about China, but they forget that Russia also touches North Korea through a tiny 17-kilometer stretch along the Tumen River. It's small, but it counts, making North Korea a country with 3 land neighbors, not just 1. And there you have it. 30 geography facts that were completely wrong. The world is bigger, weirder, and more fascinating than our maps show us. Which myth shocked you the most? Drop a comment below. And if you learned something new, smash that like button and subscribe for more mind-blowing facts. See you in the next video.